Collective. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Patience. I am your high sensitive, psychic intuitive, host of Spirit News on Spotify, where we teach you about your non-physicalness. Here on YouTube, we do psychic development reads with my very own spirit team, the Guild of the Golden Triangle, Mish, Maribel, and Mantis, which we will introduce. We've already introduced Mish, which you can see on our TikTok and on our Instagram. If you want to start diving into your own spirit guides, that's a good place to start. Each spirit guide has a special purpose, usually past, present, future, and then you get an overarching archangel. Mine's Mirabal. Her name's Mirabal. She is my guardian angel. She was assigned to me. Everyone is assigned a spirit team at birth. It's just how it is. You're supposed to have knowledge of your guides, and they're, God wouldn't send you out into the lion's den by yourself. And this information is repressed because of our past with churches and stuff. Churches made it so you had to go to them to worship God, but it's just not true. God wants God wants a relationship with you. The Spirit wants a relationship with you. They're there to help you. He wouldn't send you in the lion's den without help. So I am teaching you in real time what it's like to use the guidance of your spirit guides and to build a relationship with them. And anyone can do it. I'm not special over here. The only thing that is different for me is that I believed it and I tried it and it's working. So that's the only difference between me and you, okay? So today we have a collective read, and I have the necrometer, and I usually put the necrometer on, but I don't have my computer. I just have my phone, so I can't do two things. I can't play the necrometer while I'm using my phone. So I haven't had it, but I do listen to it, just normally. I talk to Spirit through that way and other ways. There's so many ways to speak to Spirit, but I will refer to the necrometer and take notes if there's things that they keep repeating, if there's words they keep repeating. I also put up the Spirit Speaks on our Instagram, where if consecutive things keep coming up, the words that they say, I take a screenshot and then I post it, because first of all, it helps me remember if I can't write it down or something, because they go away. The words go away eventually, so I don't want to forget. So, or I'll write them down, and there's ones that keep coming up that are driving me insane. So I was like, we got to do something. So I'm going to do a collective read based on the Spirit Speaks, and we have one I wrote down, which is the title, and they keep saying backyard, forest, and bury it. Backyard, forest, and bury it. So I was doing some research and trying to get the feel for what they're trying to tell me. And I opened up the Bible. I said, tell me what you want me to know. And we turned to death of relatives of Ahaziah. And it was interesting. The verse that I pointed to described it says, they wanted to visit the princes and family of the queen mother, and the king Isaiah said, take them alive, but then killed all 42 of them, and no one survived. And then when I read that, Spirit said flashlight, night, and forest. So I'm like, backyard, forest, night, flashlight, bury it. I'm like, okay, so something about relatives, something about family, something about a queen mother. And then when I wrote down queen mother, Spirit said Sandra. So Sandra, someone named Sandra could be significant. So I just wrote down it's a long verse. I didn't want to read the whole thing because it's kind of long. But then there was some kind of meetup, and it says in a chariot and stuff, but I modernized it, and a chariot would be a car. So there was some kind of meetup in a car at a location, which I'm like, maybe it was the forest or a backyard. And then it said um, proclaim a solemn assembly in honor of Baal. And I was like, who's Baal? So I looked it up, and Baal is a deity, an evil deity that accepts infants to be burned alive as sacrifices and has bisexual orgies for Baal. And I was like, what? Then, so they're having this party, and it says, whoever is absent shall not live. This Jehu did as a, oh wait a second. It says, Jehu gathered all the people together and said to them, Ahab served Baal, an evil deity, and Ahab is a king, to some extent, but Jehu will serve him yet more. Now summon for me all of Baal's prophets, all his servants, and all his priests. It's a cult. It's a cult that worships Baal, that does human sacrifices. See that no one is absent, for I have great sacrifice. They have an infant to sacrifice for Baal, because I looked it up. It literally said Baal takes infant sacrifices. Whoever is absent shall not live. So whoever decides to not go, or who doesn't want to do it, gets killed. Whoever doesn't want to kill the baby gets killed. Can you imagine? Like, how do you even like get to that point where you're like, oh, kill an infant? Okay. You know, like, how do you even get to that point? Like, what's the matter with you? And then, but it does say this, that Jehu did as a ruse so that he might destroy the servants of Baal. So there's actually some kind of inside person that wants to dismantle this cult. So they're pretending to be all about this. Jehu said further, proclaim a solemn assembly in honor of Baal. So they're planning some kind of meetup or party or something. They did so, and Jehu sent word of it throughout all Israel. All the servants of Baal came. There was no one who did not come. They came to the temple of Baal, and it was filled from wall to wall. Then Jehu said to the custodian of the wardrobe, bring out the garments for the servants, so cloaks and robes. They all wear the cloaks and robes. This is a cult. When we had brought out the garments for them, Jehu with Jehonadab, son of Rechab, entered the temple of Baal and said to the servants of Baal, search and be sure that there is no one who serves the Lord here with you, but only the servants of Baal. These are devil worshippers. Then they proceeded to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings. So they actually had baby infants to offer. And then they probably had an orgy afterwards. Now Jehu had stationed 80 troops outside with his warning, any of you who lets someone escape of those whom I shall deliver into your hand shall pay for your life. Pay life for a life. So anyone who doesn't burn the offerings, as I hear a screaming child. Poor baby. Yes, he's probably crying because of what we're talking about. Whom I shall deliver into your hand shall pay for a life to life. So you can't get out of this. That's probably how they make them do it. Like, once you're in, you can't get out. Or you pay with your life. As soon as he finished offering the burnt offerings, Jehu said to the guards and aides, go in and slay them. Let no one escape. He's going to kill them anyway. After you sacrifice the babies, he's going to kill these people anyway. So the guards and aides put them to the sword and cast them out. Afterwards, they went into the inner shrine of the temple of Baal and took out I see. Jehu is the insider person. So as soon as he finished the offerings, because he had to finish the offerings because they would have found him out if he escaped, because this insider, oh my God, that poor person, just to dismantle this cult, he had to stay and watch an infant be sacrificed. Otherwise, they would have killed him before he could dismantle it. But as soon as the offerings were done, he said to the guards and aides, "Go and slay them. Let no one escape." He's talking about the cult, the death of relatives. Something's going down, you guys. I don't know. And so I wrote here, Jehu overthrew the wicked kings of Uzziah, Judah, and Ahab, and dismantled all the servants of Baal. So, man, could you imagine having to make that choice? Oh my God, sacrifice one, a baby to take down a whole cult that sacrifices babies all the time. Oh, that's a tough one to heal from, but we're gonna clearly, Spirit wants us to know about this, okay? Because once we talk about it, we can heal it, okay? Damn. All right, so where to now? Let's read Fifth Dimension. It's so funny. Every time I do a video, there's always interruptions. The sharing of ideas thus could surely be accomplished by discarnate entities during sleep through dreams. This is the time when the unconscious, critical, rationalizing mind is at rest. Unlike the time of the Freudian dominance, let me read that over. The sharing of ideas thus could surely be accomplished by discarnate entities during sleep and through dreams. This is the time when the conscious, critical, rationalizing mind is at rest. Unlike the time of Freudian dominance, when the dogma, all dreams are fundamentally sexual in nature, was uncritically accepted by psychologists. Today, dreams are seen as highly productive, fertile periods that are complex in structure and scope. Maybe that's how they got these people to be part of their cult. They were doing something in their dream state to affect their conscious, critical, and rationalizing minds, because they were doing irrational things. And Freudian was all about, I was watching a documentary about Freud, and he was actually a child molester. So no wonder all his dreams were sexual in nature, because he had a wound of being molested. And so you always copy your wound. You'll always repeat your ultimate wound. So if your ultimate wound is that you were molested as a child, that's taking your power away. That's abandonment, rejection. It's a lot of emotions, and so these people were clearly all had the same wound. For Spirit to mention, because Baal's also about orgies, so he probably needs you to have a wound in order to even infiltrate your mind. And it says the sharing of ideas could be accomplished by discarnate entities during sleep and through dreams. This entity came into these people's dreams and effed with their minds, because they all have the same wound of sexual molestation. We are messengers and teachers from the God source of the Creator to assist you along the way. There is a wealth of information that is being imparted to your planet now, to the individuals upon it, and in the dream state, one gets glimpses of this information. Not at all times will you remember it in a conscious way, but you are receiving it. So these people were probably receiving discarnate entities' messages, and it was affecting their conscious, critical, and rationalizing mind, and they wouldn't even know it, because if you're not aware that it's happening, they're entering through your wound, your unconscious wound that hasn't healed yet, of whatever power got taken away from you through a sexual manner. And that is how a discarnate entity can affect you without you even knowing. What? Oh shit, damn. Oh shit, damn, oh shit, damn. Dr. Ullman, a psychiatrist by training, had long been intrigued by people's reporting of telepathic impressions while dreaming. He established that the Dream Lab at Maimonides to investigate under controlled scientific conditions the possibility of information being transferred from an agent, a sender, to a sleeping subject using an EEG to register brain changes. They clearly established after years of experiments that sleeping subjects can indeed receive pictures in their dreams that the agent or sender had been concentrating upon. These people were taken advantage of by somebody who had a discarnate entity attached to them who told them how to enter dream states, who told them how to enter people's dream states to affect their conscious mind without them knowing. The obvious point is, if sleeping subjects receive telepathically transmitted images during the less than ideal experimental environment, how much more common might the experience be under more natural conditions? And how convenient for a higher intelligence to send ideas to a sleeping, non-critical mind, an unhealed person, without the benefit of totally resting mind as in trance states. The dreamy mind would seem a close second choice to channelers for any entity wishing to communicate. What? What did I just... Oh my gosh. Just as with telepathy, there is a great amount of growing evidence that higher beings may be influencing human life, especially in the realm of ideas of creativity. Or the other way, if you have someone in your circle who dibble dabbles in the bibbity bops, they will automatically, if they're unhealed, because if you're healed, you don't want to do magic. I'll tell you that. If you're healed, you don't need to control people. You don't need to feel the need to manipulate people with energy manipulation. But if you have an end goal, like whoever the leader, Sandra, or it doesn't have to be Sandra, Spirit just said Sandra, they're obviously the leader of this cult. And if they had a discarnate entity talking to them in their dream state, telling them how to recruit people or how to enter people's dreams or affect people on an unconscious level to affect their conscious state, they could absolutely make people do things that they would have never done in a million years. Like join a cult, having orgies, killing babies. Wow. Wow. Look at the top. Sorry, got a vlog. My subscribers need me. This could have possibly been some kind of online group or something, or maybe like a spiritual group, or some kind of, like, why? How else would you reach so many people? Because it said it was filled wall to wall, and it must be something in the forest. There must be something in the forest, because also after the party was destroyed and dismantled, the altar was dismantled, perhaps in the woods, and Spirit said, mark the spot. So I don't know if the altar marks the spot or mark the spot refers to bury it, but there's something in the backyard in a forest that's buried that has to do with a family that worshipped a discarnate entity that's not of God called Baal, and they gathered people for some party, for a sacrifice, and someone who was an insider that wanted to destroy them had to sacrifice an infant just to destroy it. But there's something buried that Spirit wants us to talk about that is marked to be found again. Mark the spot like a treasure, okay? So let's see, how are we gonna do this? How should we do this? Spirit, tell me. Alright, it's a funny story. Okay. Thank you so much, Spirit. It's kind of a funny story. We gotta transmute it as well. It's a heavy story, but this is happening. We can't turn a blind eye to things that are horrible things that are happening. We have to face them head on, and we have to transmute it. We can't turn a blind eye anymore, because turning a blind eye is getting people hurt. Okay? It's our responsibility. If we have the capability of bringing darkness to light, then we have to do it. It's our responsibility. What story from your life comes to mind when you hear sight? When you hear sight. Well, a horrific sight, or a lack of sight. In this story, it makes me feel like a lack of insight, a disconnection of intuition. Because if these people that were easily susceptible to mind control, basically, that happened in the dream state, if they were more healed, if they healed that wound, they wouldn't have been susceptible to this. They would have been able, because once you clear your field of all the traumas that happened to you, or the emotional attachments, it makes you more able to use your intuition. Your intuition is your field. Your field is your intuition. And so it's non-physical. It's not something you can see. It's a sixth sense. But it's very distorted and unclear, and you're incapable of using it properly if you haven't cleared your field. So these people lacked insight. They lacked intuition. They didn't have any intuition. What is something that has to change in our society? Yeah, just what I said. We have to start recognizing that we are human right now, but we're also energetic before we're even human. We are energy having a human experience. If these people understood their emotions and energy, this wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't have happened to them. They would have seen right away. They would have said, oh, that was a weird dream. And then when they came across this person who invited them to this party, they would have been able to say, I don't know, it doesn't make me feel good. I don't think I'm going to go. Okay? Because once they were tricked to be part of this cult or whatever, because they didn't have the intuition to know better, to discern, they couldn't get out, because it was you die. If you leave, you die. Tell us about a time too much liquid courage caused you to embarrass yourself. It was a party. These people were invited to under the guise of a party. Okay? So they were already ready to go. They were drinking, which doesn't help. Drinking does not help anything. Drinking, what do you think they call it spirits for? Because it lowers your vibration. Nobody ever drinks and has a great time afterwards. You're hungover, it ruins your body, it makes you fat, it kills your brain cells, it makes you old, it ages you, and it also allows lower acting entities or energies to affect you in a negative way, or to be attached to you. So there's definitely alcohol in this equation. I definitely think it was some kind of get-together, party, something like that. It said it was filled from wall to wall. So this could possibly be a group of people. When was a time you were unexpectedly attracted to someone? Baal it said, what did it say? Baal uses sex. It's the discarnate entity of sex, and so they need you. Baal needs you to have sex with people, anyone, man, woman, child, bisexual, animals. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, whatever you can stick your wee-wee in or have sex with, Baal needs you to be in that mind state and to actually perform the act of sex in order to have power over you. And so these people were probably attracted. I mean, they probably got people to have sex with each other that would never have sex with each other. They probably turned straight people gay and gay people straight. You know what I'm saying? You think animals could have been involved in this, because Baal doesn't care. It's just about power. You can have sex with anything. What's the sexiest thing someone can wear? And did they say they changed their clothes and their robes? Maybe they changed into some kind of, maybe it was under the guise of a sex party. You know, maybe it was under the guise of some kind of weird elite sex party where you're like in bondage and you dress up and it, or maybe like a Halloween party, you know, where you get to dress up. Oh, and Halloween! I think this was done on Halloween. What's the sexiest thing someone can wear? Halloween's like an excuse to dress like like half naked, you know? What needs to be said to clear the air? Yeah, oh, by the way, this party is going to be really fun, but we're all going to have sex with each other. Okay? Yeah. Oh my gosh, and it's right under the card of sight. As soon as these people entered this house, as soon as these people entered this party, their sight was, they didn't have the ability to see past what was happening right at that moment. They weren't thinking ahead of time. They were just in the moment, just seeing with their eyes. They were just seeing with their eyes and not with their intuition. They didn't see past the illusion that it was just a regular old cool sex party, you know? I'm sure that's really appealing to young people who want to party and drink and have fun, you know, but it was, once they were inside, they couldn't leave. And if you left, then you die. So they were kind of stuck in there. What do most people think is true about you but isn't? What is something that has to change in our society? Secret society. What do most people think is true about you but isn't? A secret, something that people would think is a lie or something. I think this is a secret society. Something that has to change about our society. Secrets have to change. Because doing things in the dark like this is not going to get you manifestations. It's manipulation of energy, and it's always bad. The Bible said, Baal said, make sure no one who serves the Lord is here. 333 on the clock. So that means that they were worshiping the devil. But honestly, I don't even think, it really doesn't feel like, if I can read the energy, it doesn't feel like they understood what, like, on a clear, logical level, the implications or it doesn't feel like they were masters of this craft. It feels like they were just there, like just bodies that were recruited. They kind of got, like, I don't want to say tricked, but kind of. Have you ever been caught masturbating? Tell us about a time too much liquid courage caused you to embarrass yourself. So someone got caught masturbating? Maybe that's how it started, you know? One person, they're all drinking, having, fun, and then they see someone masturbating. That kind of like activates this whole sexual power thing. How was your high school prom? This could be something that happened as teenagers. This could have happened to some teenagers. Maybe that's why they were so easily susceptible. This could have happened at a really young age. Who would you trust more with a nude photo of yourself? And what's the sexiest thing someone can wear? Who would you trust? Yeah, they're probably They probably thought they could trust each other, or they were probably with friends, you know, maybe there's a friend group from in high school. Maybe they even went to prom together, some of the people. Who would you trust more with a nude photo of yourself? They probably took pictures. They probably took pictures and maybe they have them and someone has them. What is something ridiculous you believed as a child? These people were young when this happened, too young to understand the implications of it. The player on each side must give a 10-second ASMR performance. You choose most relaxing. They must have been sitting in a circle or something to like how do you start an orgy with teenagers? You know? They must have started off slow, you know, like a little nudeness here, you know, a little touch in there, then, you know, a little graze of the boobie, you know, like something where you have to, ASMR is about something that's oddly satisfying, you know, something that's oddly satisfying, but you can't just outright do it. You have, this is clearly some kind of grooming or something, you know, grooming. These people are grooming these teenagers. They're like, they probably thought this discarnate entity probably informed the leader, because the leader is clearly has a discarnate entity attachment that speaks to it in the dream state. Okay, that speaks to them in the dream state. They probably think it's God or something. They clearly are grooming these teenagers or young adults, maybe even college age, to become part of this cult at a young age. They're indoctrinating them. You get them young, you make them think that this is how the world is, and then, hello, thank you for being here. You make them think that this is how the world is. They will grow up and not know any better. They'll do this to everybody because they think that's just how it goes. When was a time someone pissed you off? So there is one person in this group that is using their critical thinking that maybe doesn't have this wound, or maybe just is at a place of their development where they were able to kind of feel that this feels weird. So someone got pissed off. If you were made into a statue, what position would you be showcased in? Show everybody, then vote for your favorite. I'm just gonna say what I see because I do see a vision with this. It's like a dick measuring contest. Like everyone busted out their penises or something and then showcased it, and then maybe someone got mad because theirs wasn't the biggest or something, or I don't know, and then they got voted on for the favorite. So it would have to be used. What are you saying? Oh, hey. So I have backyard, forest, and bury it, and we just found out through the Bible that this group of people may have done some kind of infant sacrifice for some kind of cult they were tricked into being into as teenagers or young adults. And we're up to now how they got lured into this situation as young adults. They're having some kind of, they were being groomed basically. It was under the guise of like a party in the woods, in the forest, and something was buried in, it could be an infant that was buried that Spirit wants us to find. What story from your life comes to mind when you hear brave? As I just said, that they had to sacrifice the infants. Oh, it's like once you, because they must have the sex first to invoke the power, you know, the sex, the act of the, Baal is the disincarnate entity that needs to gain power through sex. And so whoever Baal incarnates in, or discarnates in, will have you, it's a lust demon. It's basically a lust demon. So it'll make you have sex with animals, it'll make you have sex with babies, it'll make you have sex with man, woman, child. Because there were people in this group that were starting to be attracted to people they would never be attracted to. So it's like, and Baal also has to have orgies to build the power through the sex magic. So these people had these young adults performing sex magic without really understanding what they were doing. And then once after they had sex and the sex is done, then the power is at a place where they can actually do the sacrifice. And this scared someone. What story from your life comes to mind when you hear brave? So there was someone who was pissed off that, because once you entered into this, you can't leave. It said in the Bible, once you start, if you leave, you die. So someone must have not been as drunk, or must have been aware, or they were mad because their penis was the smallest. I don't know. Because it says if you were made into a statue, if you got hard like a statue and your position was showcased, show everybody, then vote for your favorite. So they were having some kind of like dick measuring contest, and someone's wasn't the biggest, and it pissed someone off, or both. It could be both. Someone was scared and realizing that they didn't want to do what they were doing. But there's another person. What are you that was proud, secretly proud. So there's someone who had to be brave, someone who was pissed off, and someone who is secretly proud. What is the naughtiest thing you have done in public? Have a giant orgy in the middle of the forest? Yeah. And possibly sacrifice an infant. What is the most adventurous thing you've ever done in the bedroom? Yes, these people were doing raunchy acts in the forest to appease a discarnate entity, a lust demon. Wow. I don't think that they really understood what was happening. They're young, they're full of calm, they just wanted to have fun, you know? It wasn't like supposed to be like so serious or have such dire implications. They're just ignorant. They were just ignorant. How could you they didn't have their this card came out. What story from your life comes to mind when you hear sight? Intuition. These kids, or they weren't kids. I think they were like, 18 maybe, or between 18 and 24 is what I'm getting. I think they just thought they were going to a party in the woods, Oh, there's going to be an orgy in the woods. Yeah, let's talk drinking and sex. Like, yes, that's like, that's what you do when you're young, I'm sure they thought it was going to be a great time, but that was the trick. That was how they tricked them into someone whose name starts with an S, or it could be Sandra, but I don't know. Spirit said Sandra. Spirit, please tell us more. Would you like us to know? What did they bury? What did they bury? How can we... Scene of the crime. I can't make it up, you guys. I cannot make it up. They sacrificed an infant. It was Colonel Mustard in the library with the candlestick. There's a scene of the crime, and I have marked the spot. Spirit said mark the spot. My first kiss. Sparks were flying, of course. That could have been the braces. See, these were kids. Could possibly be two people that went eat to prom together. My first kiss. Someone who gave them their first kiss they went to this party with. Because there's one person in the Bible, it's in the death of relatives of Azariah. It said that Jehu threw the wicked kings of Azariah, Judah, and Ahab, and dismantled the cult and destroyed the servants of Baal. So there's one person in this group that could possibly end this cult if they come forward about what they know. If they come forward about what they know, and they know where the body's buried, they could they could help dismantle this cult. There's one person that knows what happened, and they're too scared to come forward. Festering wounds, quit picking at that. What do they want to gain from this? That's a good question. Okay, let me ask. That's a great question. Thank you. Sometimes I forget how to ask questions when I'm in the energy. It's hard for me to do both. I just kind of say, show me what you want me to know. So thank you. What did they want to gain from this? Let's see. Spirit, can you please tell us what they wanted to gain from this? Let's do... okay. Spirit, what do they want to gain from doing this? What was the whole point? What was the end game? What's the goal? Why did they want to trick these people? Ugh, you're not going to like the answer. It's pretty basic. Because they wanted to live a lavish, opulent, luxurious life at the expense of other people. They're worshiping a deity or a discarnate entity that probably does give them manipulations based on their sacrifices. Because they're cold, icy, chilly, and aloof. And the Wheel of Fortune upside down. Because they wanted the Wheel of Fortune. They were doing this to get rich. So basic, right? Isn't that sad? That you would go through all this just for money? This was all for money. To live a certain kind of lifestyle. Wow. Bubblegum. Yeah. Crack it, snap it, pop it, and blow it. Yeah, that's how they treat people. To chew them up like bubblegum. They just go around to different areas, maybe looking for susceptible, people. My boss is an idiot. You know it, we know it, because they're idiots. Spirit says because they're idiots. They clearly don't understand anything because they're boisterous, loud, rambunctious, and rowdy. They're just they doing God's work. My personality upside down. They don't have any self-identity. They're doing this because they have wounds they need to heal, essentially. Because you wouldn't want to, this isn't the way you manifest. This isn't the way you get what you want. There's another way to get what you want. It's called manifestation. This is manipulation. You can manifest energy, you can create energy, or you can manipulate it. And when you manipulate it, this is what happens. Because they have no personality. I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me upside down. It's like, no, these people gotta go. They do it's like a pyramid scheme, but for sacrifices. They go around to neighborhoods, knocking on doors probably, acting like they're Jehovah's Witnesses. They say, hey, you want to come join, you want to see what our community is about? We're going to have a party on this day. We'd really like you to come. You can see what it's all about. It'll be in the forest. Like what? I would have been like, who are you? Where are your credentials? Where's your church at? Who's involved? Like, what do you believe in? There's a lot of questions that should have been asked, but they're young. Party? Okay, here I go. Party, yeah, let's go to a party. Vietnam Memorial upside down. The wall, built in 1982, was designed by 20-year-old architecture. Yeah, these were just 21-year-old somethings that were ready to party and hit they may have climbed the wall. Oh, I'm getting this right now. I see 3 people in the woods. They're like drinking. They're like 21-year-old somethings. It looks like 2 guys and a girl. The girl has dark skin. The girl has darker skin than the 2 guys, but they all seem around the same age, like 21. One of them with a plaid shirt on, red plaid shirt on, is kind of crazy. He's kind of wild. He's climbing a wall and he falls on the other side of the wall. And then the two people go after him, and it's someone's property that's having this party. I think they may have stumbled onto this party on someone's property on accident or something. Something like that. Because it says the wall. Wicked, evil, corrupt, depraved. Yeah, because they got a discarnate entity just living inside, squeaky clean, upside down. Pure, immaculate, unapproachable, upside down. This was unclean, impure. China, the most populous country in the world, more than 1/5 of the world's total population lives within its borders. See, they had this party within the borders of this wall, someone's house. Someone who is wicked and unclean, they like stumbled upon their house or something. They weren't even part of it at first. They were just in the woods, I guess, or something. Water parks. You can go down Dead Man's Drop. I'll take the lazy river. You can go down Dead Man's Drop. I'll take the lazy river. They were taking the lazy way out. They probably went over the wall, and then the people who are doing this want more people. The more people, the better. But they're brand new to the whole situation because they stumbled upon it. And so whoever approached them probably told them, hey, you want to do something fun? We're about to like have this party, and we have this orgy, and there's alcohol, and then we're gonna burn some food on the fire, and you can make a wish. I can just hear it now. You can make a wish. You can have anything you want. What would you wish for? Something like that. Just how the devil works, with lies. Richard Nixon, as I say that, with lies, like Watergate, these people. At least that's what the tapes say, The South. Dixie, south of the Masons. Of the Mason-Dixon line, that is. They're not like folks around here. Yeah, it's like once they cross this, they were Masons. Some kind of secret society, and once these 21-year-olds crossed the wall, the Vietnam Wall, it was all downhill from there. They became lazy because they were taking the easy way out because they thought that what they were doing was some kind of magical way to get what you want. Revolutionary. Rebellious, radical, something that was revolutionary to them, that changed them, because they realized that they could have sex with people, as many sex, 4 on the clock. They could have sex with as much people as they want, because they were 21 years old when they learned this, and whoever told them how to do it was using them as vessels to invoke a discarnate entity, Baal. And so they attained this knowledge and thought, like, oh wow, I have this magical way of getting everything I want. But they weren't told the truth about the implications of your wishes being granted. Just because you get your wishes granted now in that way doesn't mean that you're not going to suffer the consequences of that energy projection later. Republicans upside down. A U.S. political party symbolized by an elephant, and don't ever forget. All right. I have cards with an elephant on it, so I'm going to try to use those. We'll see if something comes up. Something about an elephant never forgets. I think that's that person that, or maybe none of them forgot it because they learned how to do it. It's something but it was upside down, so it wasn't something good to learn. They just didn't understand the implications. They're 21 years old. They're children. Imagine how much you can learn from 20 to 40. Thank you so much, Spirit, for being with us. Please give us... Oopsie. Thank you so much, Spirit. Ooh, that flew out. Yeah, the forest. Something... And they were... Maybe they saw the smoke. That's what made them climb the wall. They were having a barbecue, a party. They probably saw the smoke and were like, hey, what's going on over there? Thank you so much, Spirit, for being with us. Please tell us more. So, maybe someone with red hair. I think these are guides. Oh, this person, didn't I say one person was kind of crazy, acting kind of crazy? This person may have saw the smoke and was like, what's that over there? And went towards it. And I think the spirit guides are like, no. The birds represent the spirit guides for sure. Oh, didn't I say there was someone with dark skin? A girl with dark skin? They wanted to go to the wall. They wanted to go over the wall to see what was over there. Maybe there were 4 people. I don't know. Yeah, they saw the smoke. Maybe they wanted to spy, get a closer look, see what it was. He ran over there and realized he couldn't get over the wall, so they got a ladder. Butterflies represent guides. And there's a music note. So the elephant doesn't forget. The elephant's a whistleblower. I told you the elephant represents the person that didn't want to do this. I cannot make it up. I cannot make it up. I cannot make it up. I can't make it up, you guys. This person is your cult leader. They're reading from a nice little book they probably found on Amazon, you know, about how to invoke a discarnate entity to get riches, get rich quick, to gather all the vessels you can, priests. What did it say? It said, anyone who follows Baal, they needed to invoke the priests, they needed to invoke there's 3 of them. Oh, I can't remember. So how can we find what they buried? I don't think they buried it, you guys. I don't think they buried the sacrifice. I think they ate it. What? What? Oh my god. So they must have buried the bones then. It must be the bones that are buried. I can't make it up. Do you see that eyeball right there? How can we find the spot? How can we find the spot? I don't know. How do we find the spot? My fight for justice. I don't know. We'll see. Spirit, if there's something in here that helps us understand more, please tell me. The defense of the nation is the highest priority of government, and the Supreme Court has correctly recognized the limits of its own competence in advancing this core national interest. Many of the complaints raised against the Department of Defense in U.S. courts involve service members dissatisfied with and complaining about something they experienced as part of their training. In such circumstances, the trainee is, in fact, criticizing the training being conducted. This in itself constitutes a challenge to the military chain of command, suggests a potential breakdown in good order and discipline within the affected unit, and counsels caution before jumping in to remedy the alleged violation of the complaining service member's rights. It is wrong, as a matter of policy and common sense, for civilian advocacy groups and civilian attorneys to sue in court seeking to apply civilian standards to military units. Life in the military and life in civilian world are different and need to remain different. You guys, I think that this involves the government somehow, so they can maintain power. They create these groups that look like they select people who are down to recruit unsuspecting young people, to get them young, to indoctrinate them into this life, thinking that this is all you have to do to gain riches, because the government doesn't want to lose power. And the only way they can keep power is by manipulation. And so they've been sending out, I don't know what to call them, sleeper cells into neighborhoods, or to do these rituals to appease these discarnate entities so they can remain in power. Oh shit damn. Oh shit shitty shit damn. Oh shit damn. And the people who get indoctrinated into the military as part of being part of the government, it said as a training, they make you do these rituals because they need all the vessels they can get to have orgies and to do all these weird things. Oh my gosh. Look, sort of in the middle of a mental breakdown right now. I'll text you back when the CBD kicks in. Imagine, oh look, and even in music. Have you been listening to gangster rap again? They even do it in music. You can't get a contract without doing something that you don't want to do, or even to be a celebrity. Spirit wants us to know that this is happening, that this is real, and it's happening to someone I know because it's in my energy. Which means it could be happening to you. It could happen in your neighborhood just as easily. That's why it's important to know your energy, you guys. To know your energy, to clear your wounds, to heal your emotions. Because your emotions, if they're healed, will tell you when something feels bad or when something doesn't. And I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about emotionally. People discard emotions like they're nothing when they're everything. Without your body, you are literally just your emotions. Energy in motion. Emotion. And energy is always moving. If you are not moving those emotional wounds, those attachments that you have, if you're not processing them, releasing them, letting them go, they're staying inside of you. 555 on the clock. They're staying inside of you, operating you on an unconscious level, keeping you at the state of your wounds, making you easily susceptible and unable to use your intuition to discern when something is good for you and when something isn't. That's why we teach you that on Spirit News, to learn your energy. Because if you knew your energy, this would have never happened. You would have been able to feel right away, even if you're drinking, that this person, this Sandra person, is not a good person. And they're using me to be a vessel to invoke their own discarnate entities for their own personal gain, so they can remain in power. I'm about to call judgment on the government, you guys. As Oracle number 36 of the High Divine Order, I call judgment on the U.S. government, on all governments of the world that are involved in this type of manipulation. Love you. Bye. Wow.